We are following breaking news tonight on Action 2 News at 6. Brendan Dassey's conviction in the death of Teresa Halbach is overturned.
Stephen Avery's nephew made national headlines after the Netflix series Making a Murderer. We have full team coverage tonight with reaction and what lies ahead for Brendan Dassey.
From WBAY TV, coverage you can count on. Action 2 News at 6 starts now.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. It is the breaking news we've been following all night out of Milwaukee. Brendan Dassey's murder conviction of Teresa Halbach has been overturned by a federal judge.
His story made national headlines after the Netflix series Making a Murderer premiered. Dassey was convicted of the 2005 murder of freelance photographer Teresa Halbach in Manitowoc County. His uncle, Stephen Avery, was also convicted in the murder. Avery is currently appealing his conviction. Our Claire Cayley starts our team coverage tonight to explain how the judge made this decision. Claire.
Well, Jeff and Cammie, the judge was really looking at two things. Did Brendan Dassey have ineffective counsel, and should his confession have been allowed in court? The judge decided Dassey did not prove he had ineffective counsel, but he did determine Dassey's confession should not have been used at trial. In fact, the judge said, quote, "It is the conclusion of the court that this case represents the sort of extreme malfunction in the state criminal justice system," end quote. Court documents say investigators used leading questions when interrogating Dassey, which made it difficult for them to tell if he really knew the facts or was just agreeing with investigators. The judge believes investigators repeatedly claimed to already know what happened to Halbach and that Dassey had nothing to worry about. The decision states the repeated false promises made by investigators, along with Dassey's age, intellectual deficits, and lack of a supportive adult, led the judge to decide the conviction was involuntary.
A lot of people asking the question now, does Dassey go free?
We looked into that, and the court documents say that the state has an option to appeal the decision, or they have 90 days to retry the case.
What if that does not happen?
If that doesn't happen, Dassey will be released from prison.
All right. Thanks, Claire.
Claire, thank you. As this breaking story unfolds, we've started to get reaction from those involved. We were actually there when one of Stephen Avery's brothers learned about Dassey's overturned conviction. Emily Matesic joins us now live from Waupun to tell us that part of the story. Emily.
Yeah, Jeff, we caught up with Earl Avery, one of Stephen Avery's brothers, as he was leaving Waupun Correctional here in Waupun after visiting his brother Stephen. He says he didn't know about the reversal in the Dassey case until he came out of the prison and turned his cell phone on and had several messages about it. While the news comes as a surprise to Earl Avery, he says he is hopeful for what it means to his brother Stephen's case.
Does this give you any more hope?
Well, sure. You know, he'll be out of there sooner or later. You know, like he says, the truth will always come out.
His brother was very upbeat during their visit today, and that Stephen can't talk about his appeal, but that Kathleen Zellner, Stephen Avery's appellate attorney, was here visiting with him this morning. Earl Avery also told us that he doesn't think Brendan Dassey will be retried because he believes that in the court of public opinion, the public is supportive of Brendan Dassey. But as we know, the court of public opinion in this case does not matter. It will be up to the state to decide whether or not to retry Brendan Dassey. For now, we're live in Waupun. Emily Matesic, Action 2 News.
Thank you, Emily. We're also hearing from county officials on Dassey's overturned conviction. Our George Rodas is in Manitowoc gathering reactions. George.
We have reached out to the county sheriff's department here in Manitowoc. We have not heard back from their office, but we did speak to the county executive here, Bob Ziegelbauer, who has spoken to us in the past about the Avery and Dassey cases. He says this announcement took him by surprise. He says he's not thrilled with any attention this brings on his city and his county after what they've already been through. Here's what he had to say.
I don't know what's next. I presume that the order will be appealed by the state justice department, but I don't know. It's still kind of new to me. I have a lot of concern for the family of the victim, and that's one thing we can't forget.
Teresa Halbach and her family on his mind tonight. We are still working to get more reactions from Manitowoc, and if we get them, we will bring them to you on air and online, that is, at WBAY.com. But for now, live in Manitowoc, George Rodas, Action 2 News.
Thank you, George. Well, the news of Brendan Dassey's overturned conviction leads many questioning what is next for both Dassey and Stephen Avery at this point. Michelle Clemens joins us live in the newsroom with what she found out today. Michelle.
Cami, we've reached out to at least a dozen people related to the cases, including Brendan Dassey's lawyers, one of which is out of town, but says he's aware of the ruling. We hear from him soon. We also reached out to Stephen Avery's attorney, Kathleen Zellner. She says she was in Wisconsin visiting Avery today and says he is happy for Brendan. She says in a statement, quote, "We know when an unbiased court reviews all of the new evidence we have, Stephen will have his conviction overturned as well," end quote. Dean Strang, Avery's former attorney, also got back to us and says in a statement, quote, "We are thankful and proud that a federal court fulfilled its fundamental role for Brendan Dassey today. In doing so, this federal court served all Americans," end quote. The director of communications for the Wisconsin Department of Justice also responded, saying the department is reviewing the order and has no comment at this time. We also reached out to Dassey's former defense attorney, Len Kaczynski. As we told you moments ago, the judge today decided that Dassey did not have ineffective counsel. Kaczynski says he's relieved by today's ruling.
In the sense that there was an issue that I preserved for appeal before it was off the case, I was in a sense gratified because the fact that that was the basis for Magistrate Judge Duffin's decision, so that I did my job.
Now, reaction continues to pour into our newsroom tonight, and we'll be following it all and have the latest details tonight on Action 2 News at 10. Jeff?
Michelle, thanks. And this story will be developing all night long, and you can count on Action 2 News to bring you complete coverage at WBAY.com, on our Action 2 News mobile app, and of course we'll have the very latest details tonight on Action 2 News at 10. Well, there looks to be a few spotty showers tonight. A football game going on. Meteorologist Jenny Curtis in Storm Center 2 tracking conditions before kickoff. Jenny.
That's right. And as we look over toward Lambeau Field here in Green Bay, our temperatures at 73, our dew points at 69, so it feels humid out there. But we haven't seen these showers just yet. In fact, we've actually seen some showers go on either side of Green Bay. So let's look at Viper right now. Right on both sides of Green Bay, there's one shower that's just off to our east, another one just off to our west. So as of right now, we're sort of lucking out. But you'll notice there's plenty more scattered showers further to our south. And so there's a spotty chance for a shower to move through Green Bay today. Now, we still have that chance across southern parts of the viewing area. We are starting to see some of this dissipate. Now, we're starting to lose our daytime heating. We'll see some of these dissipating through the evening, but there's actually quite a few more storms sitting off just to our west, and those will be moving through later tonight. So we're still not quite done with our rain chances, but at least through this evening, we should see some spotty showers and more scattered showers developing later tonight. Back to you. All
right, Jenny, thanks. And we are just 30 minutes away from the Packers' preseason opener against the Cleveland Browns.
As you remember, of course, they were supposed to play in the Hall of Fame game last week. It was canceled, though, because of those poor field conditions on Sunday. But tonight, we're getting a first look at the team in action here. Caitlin Sharkey has more on what we can expect to see on the field tonight. Caitlin.
Cammie, Aaron Rodgers was scheduled to sit at Canton, and it appears he'll get tonight off as well. With backup QB Brett Hundley still out with an ankle injury, third stringer Joe Callahan will certainly get a chance to prove himself tonight. Callahan threw for 5,000 yards and 55 touchdowns at Division III Wesley College last year, once tossing 8 touchdowns in a single game. Now, he may not be ready to put on that type of show in his NFL preseason debut, but he's come a long way since rookie camp.
You know, that first day coming in, it was so much being thrown at us. But a couple months later, I feel a lot more confident. You know, I've had the plays installed a few different times now, and you know, I'm not hesitating, or you know, I feel like I'm able to pin my ears back and play a little bit more right now.
And as expected, a pretty lengthy inactive list for the Packers tonight. Of course, Rodgers and Brett Hundley, but Randall Cobb, Clay Matthews, Julius Peppers, Sam Barrington, and Jeff Janis, just a few of the names on the list with just under an hour till kickoff. The team has just taken the field for some early warm-ups. I'll have more coming up in sports. At Lambeau Field, Caitlin Sharkey, Action 2 Sports.
All right, Caitlin, thanks. New developments tonight on Wisconsin's voter ID law. The state filed an emergency request asking the courts to keep the current voter ID law in place. for the November election. 2 weeks ago, a district court judge upheld Wisconsin's voter ID law as a whole, but called for an overhaul of some of the state's election procedures ahead of the November election. The state appealed the ruling and asked that the current law remain in place while the law was going through an appeals court. Yesterday, a judge agreed to keep a small part of those procedures in place for November, but today the state asked the court to keep all of those procedures in place for November.
Donald Trump will be back in Wisconsin next week. Trump has scheduled a pair of fundraisers in La Crosse and Milwaukee on Tuesday. Once again, the state's top Republican leaders won't be there. Governor Scott Walker is slated to be in Colorado for a governor's panel, and House Speaker Paul Ryan will be on a trip with his family. The Republican nominee for president last campaigned in Green Bay just last week. A running mate Mike Pence has made 3 stops in Wisconsin in the past 2 weeks. Hillary Clinton hasn't been in Wisconsin since losing the Democratic primary back in April. On Wednesday, we told you about that Marquette Law School poll. It shows that Hillary Clinton has a wide lead in the state. She's now leading him by more than 15 points among likely voters in Wisconsin.
There are some spotty showers moving across southern parts of our viewing area, but we're not quite done yet. Even after these start to dissipate here this evening, there's another more widespread area of showers and even some rumbles of thunder just off to our west. That'll be moving through later tonight. We'll show you those details on Storm Center 2 Pinpoint Predictor and have everything you want to know for the weekend ahead right after this.
From WBAY TV, Bill Jartz and Cammie Repson, this is Action 2 News at 6. Coverage you can count on. Here's meteorologist Jenny Curtis, live from Storm Center 2. Brought to you by Tundraland, sunrooms, baths, and replacement windows.
We've still got a few scattered showers out there through the evening hours, and actually a few more that are just behind that, and it's still humid out there for this evening. It's still going to be humid out there overnight, and that could bring on some patchy fog for anybody who might be out there, especially early tomorrow morning. And it's still going to be humid again during our day tomorrow. So we are looking for more scattered showers today. Here's Viper right now, where we do see there are a few. And for anybody who maybe hasn't gone out toward Lambeau Field just yet, but is a ticket holder, well, we have a few showers. There's one that's been moving just to our east and another one that's moving just to our west. So at the moment, they're doing a nice Green Bay split. That's perfect, right? But we could still see a few spotty showers out there through the rest of the evening. You'll notice there are still some down toward Appleton, Oshkosh, and into Fond du Lac. And we're actually not even done after those move through, because we have a front draped across Minnesota and Wisconsin. That's firing off quite a bit of rain. So our biggest threat later tonight would be some heavy rain, as this is going to push across the state late tonight and into early tomorrow morning. Temperatures in the lower 70s over near the lakeshore. We have 73 right now in Green Bay, 77 still though in Shawano, and 76 in Wapaka. Our dew points are higher, so while our temperatures are fairly comfortable, the dew points not so much. They've been in the upper 60s to low 70s for this evening. They should still remain higher tomorrow, and even into Sunday, still going to feel slightly humid out there. Here's Storm Center 2 Pinpoint Predictor with those showers through this evening, moving across southern parts of the viewing area. Later tonight, all of that rain that we just saw on Viper is going to move into central Wisconsin late tonight and then push across the state overnight. It could at times bring us some heavier rain and some more widespread rain during the overnight time, lingering into early tomorrow morning as a few scattered showers, and then still a few in the early morning hours tomorrow could linger through the day. Tonight, though, the severe weather outlook pretty much in a low category. We could hear a few rumbles of thunder out there and maybe some brief heavy rain, but for the most part, we're not looking at any severe weather, just that heavy rain and some rumbles of thunder. Now, tomorrow we'll see a few spotty showers in the forecast, and otherwise we're going to be seeing some broken clouds by the time we get to tomorrow evening. Highs tomorrow should be in the 80s, about 80 degrees in Green Bay, and some upper 70s near the lakeshore and the North Woods. Dew points about 66 to 68. Unfortunately, that means tomorrow another rather uncomfortable day, but at least our shower chance is down at about 20% chance, so not a very good chance tomorrow, but a pretty good chance tonight with scattered showers and thunderstorms still in the forecast. Still humid and some patchy fog developing, and then tomorrow a few lingering showers, mostly cloudy, still another humid day, And those dew points tomorrow are going to be in the 60s once again. But by the time we get to Sunday, at least we should have some more sunshine. In fact, I think we'll probably see some by Saturday afternoon. It shouldn't be a complete wash on Saturday. On the other hand, we have plenty more rain showers to go tonight, so you don't have to worry about watering the lawn.
I hope so.
Yeah.
It's looking a little dry out there. Thanks, Jenny.
Well, it's practice football, but it's nice to have football back.
It's still a game. Coming up, we head back to Lambeau Field for the first game of the year. What Aaron Rodgers and other veterans think of the preseason. That's coming up next with a report from Caitlin Sharkey.
Here's Dave Schrader from Action 2 Sports, brought to you by the Orthopedic and Sports Institute of the Fox Valley, the Recovery Inn for hips and knees.
The Packers preseason kicks off at the top of the hour. It's competitive-ish football for the first time since the overtime playoff loss in January. The big-name starters may not play much or at all, but it's still a big night. Caitlin Sharkey joins us live with a final pregame preview. Caitlin.
Dave, following last week's canceled Hall of Fame game, Coach McCarthy said the opportunity was lost for those rookies looking to get game reps that week. But fortunately for those younger Packers, they still have 4 preseason games remaining, including tonight's preseason game against the Browns. And while some were disappointed, the veterans agreed they can earn their roster spots in practice every day. The preseason game gives the atmosphere, but as far as personnel and scheme goes, you can't look too much into what a team brings to the table.
And the practice reps are really important. You know, we're playing against a great defense every single day, so got to see it in practice. You know, want to get on the same page, but those reps are as important as a game, because the other misnomer about the preseason is nobody shows anything. You know, even that third preseason game, you know, there's not going to be a lot of crazy things being shown.
I mean, it's not like we can go out to practice and you know, watch film of our defense, what they've been installing that day. You just kind of show up and you have to adjust to whatever blitz they want to bring that day, whatever they want to run. And it's good training because it doesn't allow you to you know, really foreshadow what they're going to do. You just got to go out there and you got to play fast like you do in games. So you got to make quick adjustments and get ready to go.
But while the veterans hold their opinions on the preseason games, Coach McCarthy has said week after week that those game reps are important for the rookies still trying to learn the installs and techniques in an atmosphere they can't quite get at Reinishke Field. Dave?
Thanks, Caitlin. Down in Madison, the Badgers have 5 days of fall camp under their belts as they continue to piece together both sides of the ball. On defense, all eyes are on new D coordinator Justin Wilcox. Can he match the success of the departed Dave Aranda, whose new team, the LSU Tigers, will come calling at Lambeau Field in the season opener? The Badgers had the #1 scoring defense and #2 overall defense last year.
You know, I don't think the players really look at it like, you know, as a thing of pressure or trying to think about last year, because last year's last year. We're a new team, we're a new defense, got a new defensive coach, and I think one of the big advantages to us is just as a unit, we kind of gel together, and we try to make practice fun, and we try to carry that over to the game.
Unlike last year, they don't just have one big SEC opponent to start and then the easy Big Ten schedule. They've got to play some of the big boys like Ohio State and Michigan this year.
Serious business.
Yes.
Thanks, Dave.
We'll be back. A recap of the breaking news we've been following all afternoon. A federal judge in Milwaukee has overturned Brendan Dassey's murder conviction. A judge ordered Dassey be released from custody unless the state moves to retry him within 90 days of Friday's ruling. He will not be released until the appeals process is finished, though. Dassey was sentenced for the 2005 murder of freelance photographer Teresa Halbach in Manitowoc County. His uncle, Stephen Avery, also convicted in that murder.
And court documents say investigators used leading questions when interrogating Dassey, which made it difficult for them to tell if he really knew the facts or was agreeing with investigators. The decision also considered other factors like Dassey's age, intellectual deficits, and absence of a supportive adult. Those factors led a judge to determine that Dassey's confession was involuntary. We have full team coverage on this story. Look for updates on Action 2 News at 10 and online at WBAY.com. Before we leave tonight, we want to get a check of that weather forecast with Jen.
Which of course is very important for anybody who is going to be at the Packer game, in which case they should probably already be over there. But There could be a spotty shower there this evening, but otherwise we'll see more rain much later tonight. There's a lot more rain just up to our west. You can start to see that entering just toward the west of Wausau. So we're looking for it. It will linger into tomorrow morning, and we'll see about a 20% chance for some showers throughout our day on Saturday. Not a complete wash, but it's going to be humid this weekend.
Big night for the Packers rookies.
Yes. Tune in at 10 for the full highlights. Which rookies can take advantage of this big stage for the first time tonight?
Thank you, Dave.
We'll see you back here tonight at 10.